The following is a talk given by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj on February 18, 2014.
So as I said, we don't need to introduce His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj because we know, we've done that. We've introduced Radhanath Maharaj, we've introduced His Holiness Naranjan Swami. We have also introduced Kavichandra Maharaj. And now we'd like to introduce our chairman. Would you please stand, Reva Raman Prabhu? So this is our chairman, the Devotee Care Committee. Haribo. Where's Gauranga Prabhu? Okay. Gauranga is actually our director of the Devotee Care Committee, and Gauranga has set up many, many systems for ISKCON so that we can function nicely as devotees globally. So that's Shivanandan Prabhu, who I am deeply grateful to. He's an amazing, amazing tech devotee. He absolutely knows everything that's going on. He knows that microphone like somebody knows how to write ABCs. And he knows this computer, and he knows we depend on him so much in the Devotee Care Committee. We thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you for your personal help. Mataji and her, Prabhu, can you please, Vijay Gopal, Prabhu, please, if you would stand up with your good wife. Thank you so much. Prema Padmini, Mataji. Both these devotees have given so much of their time, so much of their love, so much of their care to bring about so many wonderful ways that we can interact as devotees in relationship to Grihastha community. They've written so many books on devotee care, so many books on marriages, so many books on different ways that we can interact together. These devotees are extremely proactive, and it's really wonderful to be a part of the team with them because they inspire all of us so much. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna Maharaj. His Holiness Chandramali Maharaj is here. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much. Sridham Prabhu. What's going on? I think it's your blue and white sweater. It's confusing me. Sridham Prabhu and his amazing wife, Kaishori. These devotees, Sridham, would you please stand up, please? These devotees inspire devotees globally. They travel all over the world, really caring so much about the devotees that are in different ashrams, specifically the Grihastha ashram. They're both professionals at his wife is a doctor at the Bhaktivedanta Hospital, and Sridham Prabhu is also an amazing business personality, among so many other things. You know, some of you have been to his seminar. And they have been working collectively as a team, husband and wife team, to inspire Grihasthas all over the world. I believe the only place they haven't touched yet is America, and that's because the Grihastha Vision team are there. So that's, I think, a little bit taken care of. But they probably have been every place else. And these devotees are also amazing inspiration for us because not only do they know about systems, but what's most important about this couple is they understand how to connect with all of us from the heart. They're very subjective, individual, loving, caring devotees. And that's what it takes. That's what the Devotee Committee is all about. So we thank you all very, very much for being here. Haribol, this would not be possible if it wasn't for these devotees. So I'm going to start with His Holiness Naranjan Maharaj. Normally we start with seniors, and that would mean starting with His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj. However, today we thought that what you would offer, what our question is, will get us all thinking here in the Devotee Care Committee. So I attended a workshop given by Gaurang Prabhu today, and I was very privileged to hear His Holiness Naranjan Maharaj share some things about devotee care. There was something he shared that a few devotees shared with me that actually had caught my attention. And we thought we would bring this to all of you because he spoke about this with so much conviction from his heart. And I believe that's why we brought this question to you, Maharaj, because we could hear that conviction, we could hear that love, we could hear that care. And so for His Holiness Naranjan Swami, the question is, and I believe you have your question. Okay. Maharaj, the question is, devotee care begins when we feel comfortable and happy to reveal our minds in confidence. In confidence. And he spoke so intensely about this confidentiality, which is something that there are different schools of thought about confidentiality in our ISKCON movement. So Maharaj, would you kindly, briefly elaborate on that for us?
Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Bangam Langayate Garim Yakripatamaham Bande Shri Gunanjana Taranam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Vishesha Shanyavari Pastya Chadesatarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, thank you, Vajalila Mataji, for allowing me to take responsibility for this question. It is an important question, and obviously it solicits an important answer. And I guess, as you said, that because of my presentation that I gave this morning, which has prompted this question to be given to me today, then I should probably refer to the points that I spoke about this morning. And question, I'll repeat, is the devotee care begins when devotees can feel comfortable and happy to reveal our minds in confidence. And I spoke about the importance of creating the proper atmosphere for devotees to reveal their minds in confidence. And in creating the proper atmosphere, it means especially that devotees are in senior positions, leaders, spiritual, managerial, whatever position of leadership one has, they have a great responsibility to be exemplary. And obviously being a good example will in itself elicit trust to reveal one's mind to a person. But even more than that, I spoke about a very important point that I've been speaking about a lot because I've realized that it's very, very essential for devotees to understand what is a Vaishnava atmosphere. And we were giving reference to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's teachings in Sri Bhaktiloka. In one of his texts, he talks about the necessity to control the urge to speak. Actually, he spoke about controlling all the urges, but specifically on this topic, that he says that if one doesn't control the tendency to speak, then enmity arises from speaking about others. And if we analyze this statement, we can very easily project into the problems where unnecessary speaking about others can create, especially in positions of leadership. Because anyone who's in a position of leadership, unfortunately, I can tell you I've shared responsibilities in this position for quite a few years. You have to hear a lot about others. It generally makes its way to you, sometimes uninvited and even sometimes with resistance. Still it comes. And as leaders, but not only as leaders, but creating a culture of knowing when to speak about others and what to speak about others. And this culture is actually a Vaishnava culture when we understand that we should not speak unnecessarily about others. What is necessary and what is not necessary? Well, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that sometimes it is found that people, when they get together, they have a spontaneous inclination to start speaking about others. It's natural because it's our natural proclivity to speak about somebody. It just so happens to be that somebody that we're always supposed to be speaking about is Krishna. But if we don't have a sufficient attraction to always speak about Krishna, then sometimes it can be perverted. And therefore that proclivity to speak about others will naturally erupt into kind of spontaneous talking about other devotees. And then, especially when we start speaking about other devotees, something that may be confidential, that may be inaccurate, which oftentimes unfortunately is, this breaks down trust in Vaishnava relationships. And when trust is broken down, the result is the culture of trust is also very much disrupted in whatever community we may be in, either locally or even globally. And I was giving the point this morning that because of our technology today, unfortunately, sometimes a devotee may reveal something in confidence to another person, and it can be spread all over the world in a moment. Just go on Facebook. Unfortunately, it's the place. I know it has its benefits, but it's also like a double-edged sword. So, of course, globally, but then there's locally. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that in Sri Bhakti Loka that a person, first he controls himself and then he controls the whole world. And he explains that when a person learns how to control himself, freeing himself also from the propensity to unnecessarily speak about others, when he conquers, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, of course, when he refers to the verse, Vacho Vegam, Manasakota Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Arpasta Vegam, that the person who can control the urges of the tongue, the body and the genital, the mind, and the words, he can make disciples all over the world. Anyways, I've been given 5 minutes to speak on this topic, and I've actually given 5 lectures on this topic. So I have to somehow figure out how to encapsulate it in 5 minutes. But that in essence is what I spoke about this morning, and it's a great responsibility. And when a devotee actually, as leaders, behaves in a way that's exemplary and actually demonstrates by his own example the peacefulness which comes by controlling himself, then very naturally others will come forward and ask and reveal their minds and want to hear because they feel confidence that I can speak to this person and share something about myself and it won't come back to me in Facebook. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Oh. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Maharaj. That's such a very deep topic. And Rupa Goswami has taken us very deeply into it. And Maharaj, he elaborates it in such a way that all of our minds can really grasp this understanding. At least my little mind did. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Haribol Maharaj, can I call on you now? Yes? So we will invite His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj to answer the next question. And this question is a little bit based on the class he also gave, somewhat. However, Jayapataka Maharaj's whole life has been a life, as we've heard His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj share this morning, his whole life has been a life of care. So it follows that we've developed this Devotee Care community, and we're trying to give it to the world. And so His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj, he has this global vision of how to implement facilities all over the world to care for the devotees. Huge vision. And of course, his own example, he's started some things here in Mayapur. I believe Mayapur is maybe one of the only places in the world that has an ashram for single women, for senior women. Mayapur is also one of those places that has a mini branch of the Bhaktivedanta Hospital. Just this past year, I know it wasn't here last year. There's also a hospice care that's in development here in Mayapur. And lastly, there is a home for the elderly devotees like myself. We have that opportunity that we could come here and retire if we so desire, because under the able guidance of His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj, he has inspired so many devotees to keep that focus. He spoke in his class about longevity. What will happen after the senior Srila Prabhupada disciples are not here? What will happen in order to care for everyone else that's coming and will keep coming and will keep coming? And so his vision is a vision of facilities. And we want to ask him, Maharaj, how real is that? How real is this vision for the world, given that we're still struggling with things like not sharing something someone told us? So we would like you to elaborate a little bit on your vision and inspire devotees to perhaps take this vision to their places where they are.
First, I'd like to offer my pranam to Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschata Dasatarini. Maga karoti vachalam, mangolangaya tegayan, yat krita talahan mande, sigaronti tainam, paramahananda madhavam, Sri Chaitanya Saram. Of course, I can't take much credit.
Of course, I cannot take much credit.
The Bhaktivedanta Hospital was created by Radhanath Swami.
The Bhaktivedanta Hospital was created by Radhanath Swami.
We just asked them to make a branch here.
We just asked them to make a branch here.
And the hospice is still in our minds, but it's a doesn't. We will do it. But Giriraj Raj, he did that in Vrindavan.
The hospice, it's still there in our minds, but we are determined that we want to do it. It was actually Giriraj Maharaj who started a hospice in Vrindavan.
Other things, the GDC, which is being coordinated by Bhakti Narayan Prabhu, is making this facility for the elderly devotees to retire.
A GBC effort coordinated by Bhakti Narayan Prabhu is making a facility for elderly devotees to retire.
So those devotees who have served their whole lives in Islam,
For those devotees who have served their whole lives in ISKCON,
like this, Mayapur is getting a lot of benefits.
like this, Mayapur is getting a lot of benefits.
But as I discussed this morning, we want, first of all, that somehow the culture of care, that should be spread.
So, as I explained this morning, we want that first of all, the culture of care, that should be explained.
Spread. Established.
Should be established.
That it's the thread in the cloth that makes the cloth stay together.
It is the thread in the cloth that makes the cloth stay together.
Like Haridas Thakur, he was the best example.
Like Haridas Thakur, he was the best example.
How when he was arrested, he started the first prison preaching.
Like when he was arrested, he started the first prison preaching.
So he's our saint for the prison preachers.
So he is our saint for prison preaching.
And then when he was being whipped in 22 marketplaces,
And then when he was being whipped in 22 marketplaces,
and Lord Chaitanya said he came with Sudarshan Chakra to chop the executioners' heads off.
so then Lord Chaitanya came with Sudarshan Chakra to chop the heads of the executioners.
But he prayed, forgive them, they know not what they do.
So Haridas Thakur prayed to Lord Chaitanya, please forgive them. They do not know what they're doing.
So as a result, then Lord Chaitanya, he took the hits of the whips on his own back.
So as a result, Lord Chaitanya took the hits of the whip on his own back.
And later he showed Haridas Thakur how his back was elated by the whips.
And later he showed Haridas Thakur how his back was filled with whip marks.
And Haridas Thakur fainted.
And Haridas Thakur fainted.
So the Lord is really giving us care.
So the Lord is really giving us care.
But Haridas Thakur showed how that is.
But Haridas Thakur showed how that is.
Now, throughout ISKCON,
Throughout ISKCON,
every center, every leader can establish this culture of care.
every center, every leader can establish this culture of devotee care.
But we don't expect every center to have a hospice or have a facility.
We don't expect every center to have a hospice or these facilities.
What we were discussing in every continent can discuss where they can have some facilities.
We are discussing how every continent can discuss how they can have some facilities.
And Tirupati being a holy place,
And Tirupati being a holy place,
like Vaikuntha on earth,
Vaikunta on earth,
Devotee Raman has some plans. He has a lot of farm, and he plans based on elderly ashram and other things there.
So Revati Raman Prabhu, he's bought a farm and he wants to build an elderly citizens ashram and things like that.
I think that His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj,
I think that His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj,
his idea of leaving his body in Gita Nagari
his idea of leaving his body in Gita Nagari
was to show that these temples in the West are holy places.
was to show that these temples in the West are holy places.
And anybody, that would be an ideal place to establish some facility there.
So that would be an ideal place to establish some facility there.
But anyway, that's decided by the Continental Committee.
Anyway, that is being decided by the Continental
That
Committee.
is
That is to be decided by the Continental Committee
and the local devotees
and the local devotees
what they would like to do.
what they would like to do.
So in each continent, each country, depending on the size of the country,
So like each continent, each country, depending on the size of the country,
they could have some facility for devotees, either hospital, hospice, elderly devotees, ashram.
so they could have some facilities like hospital, hospice, ashram for elderly devotees.
Like in India, there's several websites to help devotees get married.
Like in India, we have some websites to help devotees get married.
And that has reached to the international scene as well.
That has reached the international scene as well.
Many devotees tell me that, oh, I got married on this website.
Many devotees tell me that I got married on this website.
I met my spouse.
I met my spouse.
So all these things are different categories of devotee care.
All these things are different categories of devotee care.
I was thinking how here in Mayapur, our hospital, they had 2 dental chairs.
I was thinking how in Mayapur, in the hospital, they have 2 dental chairs.
And that here, a root canal, they charge 1,500 rupees,
And here for a root canal, they charge 1,500 rupees,
$25.
$25.
And in America, I think they charge $3,000.
And I think in America, they charge $3,000.
So you come to the festival free,
So you can come to the festival free.
just get your tooth done. Just have your tooth done.
Just get your tooth done.
In fact, they save money.
That way you can save money.
So, like that, like a big country like Brazil has many farms,
Like a big country like Brazil has many farms.
they could easily have facilities there.
So like that
They could have.
they could have some facilities there.
There are many farms in the USA.
There are many farms in the USA.
Some of these farms were visited by Srila Prabhupada.
Some of these farms were visited by Srila Prabhupada.
How rare. Of course, in India you have places which are visited by avatars.
Of course, in India you have places which are visited by avatars.
But Prabhupada was mentioned in the Vedas.
Prabhupada was mentioned in the Vedas,
In the Brahma Bhagavata Puran,
in the Brahma Vaivarta Puran.
Krishna said, I'm going to send someone 5,000 years after Kali Yuga begins.
Krishna said that I am going to send someone after 5,000 years after Kali Yuga begins.
And he'll spread the Harinam all over the world.
And he will spread Harinam all over the world.
So Prabhupada had visited every continent.
So Prabhupada had visited every continent.
So those places in India which some great devotee visits are called Sritats.
And so those places in India where great devotees visit are called Shripats.
And within 3 kilometers, they're considered like a town.
And 3 kilometers around that,
3 miles actually.
3 miles around that is considered to be like a dham.
Anyway, so I shouldn't speak too long
I shouldn't speak too long.
because there are many other panelists.
Yeah, there are other panelists.
Thank you very much, Marge. Thank you so much. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you. I believe devotees have a clearer understanding of facilities and how this is being offered in ISKCON and what you can do in your in your community, in your temple, wherever you may be. Marge mentioned Gitanagari, and I do want to take a minute just to share that Marge, in Gitanagari, because His Holiness Bhaktitirtha Maharaj left his body there, so the devotees there, they do have a room for any devotee that would like to come and leave their body in Gitanagari. So the room is equipped with everything that's needed for a hospice care. It is only a room. It is not a complete facility, not a complete facility like a hospice place, but the room is there and it is available. So thank you very much for mentioning that. And that was only brought to our awareness because of the departure of His Holiness Bhaktitirtha Maharaj. Thank you so much. Thank you, Marge. Haribol. So we will invite His Holiness Radhanath Swami. However, there's two things I'd like to share before we do that. Hare Krishna Das, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Das Prabhu, where is he? He's one of the most amazingly humble devotee in our team. And he is the devotee, where is he? He's somewhere. However, he's just so humble. This devotee is incredible because he's always finding ways to serve the devotees. Today I was a little bit wondering how I was going to work my computer, given that my husband is not here. And I asked Hare Krishna Das, and he was unable to come. However, 10 minutes before the presentation, he sent someone, and that person was right there. Mataji, Hare Krishna Das, Hare Krishna Prabhu said, you might need some help, and there he was. And where is this, is he around? Anyway, he's a part of our team. Hare Krishna Das is actually, he was a lawyer, became devotee, and he's one of those devotees under the care of His Holiness Radhanath Swami that gives amazing care to the devotees. So Hare Krishna Das, thank you very much for being a part of our team. Hare Krishna. So I'd also like to invite all of you, if you have a question for a panel, perhaps you can start thinking about it. You can write it. This is for you. This is where this little talk show, whatever we're doing here, is an offering so that you can bring your concerns, whatever you might want to share with our illustrious panel members so that they can answer maybe some questions you may have. So now we'd like to invite His Holiness Radhanath Swami. Srila Jayapataka Maharaj, he spoke about culture of care. So we know that culture means something. There's got to be something to make a culture. And this culture cannot exist without love and trust. And so His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, he embodies this love and trust wherever he goes. And I believe every person in this room can attest, can share something about that. I believe if I went to every person in this room, they could share some way where they were inspired by His Holiness Radhanath Swami to develop trust in themselves, trust in someone else, trust in our organization, trust in our community. Because I always say, Maharaj, you are a personification of love. And Maharaj, he always reminds us that that's who we are. We're loving beings. All of these other things are just our coverings. And I believe he's always in contact with that loving part of who we are. So Maharaj, we would like you to share this love and trust. How can we all remember that this is who we are? How can we imbibe this as a culture of care?
Rajalila sees everyone as a mirror of her own wonderful spiritual loving nature. On the material platform, a baby trusts his mother because of the mother's unconditional care. Actually, our ability to surrender to Krishna is very much rooted in Srila Prabhupada's love for us, as it has come through his life and his teachings. That love and our trust in that love empowered us to push forward his movement. We may not have love, but Srila Prabhupada opened the doors for us to strive for that unconditional love. And in doing so, he gave us the opportunity to engage in the 9 processes of devotional service. Through our sadhana, through our character, and through our service, we could represent his love. It is our service to be caretakers of Srila Prabhupada's divine property in the form of his devotees. And through our words, through authentically representing him through our words and our actions, we have the chance to represent his compassion. As leaders of devotional communities, we can organize facilities, systems, programs that will actually encourage, inspire, and empower our devotees to be happy in Krishna consciousness. Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained that the essence of Dharma is to taste the sweetness of Hari Katha and Hari Nam, to serve the Vaishnavas, and to actually be instruments of Srila Prabhupada and Krishna's compassion to all beings, everywhere. Devotee care in this sense is very foundational to every department and every aspect of our movement. And when we prioritize that, prioritize the hearts of each devotee, and inspiring those hearts with pure devotional service and the desire for that, then we, through book distribution, through art, through dance, through deity worship, through temple development, through farm communities, we will truly have a culture of love and trust. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much. That was very short and sweet. Thank you. Love and trust is short and sweet usually. Not much to be said, right? But it's very deep. So devotees, are we ready to share our hearts and know that we can love and trust each other? Are we ready to extend ourselves and expand Srila Krishna Prabhupada's mission in such a way that His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj will smile because he will understand that devotees are genuinely caring. In his class he says, how much do we really care about people? This was one of his themes. How much do we really care about people? So love and trust, sharing our hearts, being confidential, And now we'd like to turn to His Holiness Kavichandra Maharaj, who is one of the renowned book distributors. He's an amazing example of someone that understands our philosophy. And he's done his best to be exemplary of the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. So we thought we would ask you this question, Maharaj. Yes, this one. That one. So let me just get this question for Maharaj. It's a little interesting question. So in this question, Maharaj, everything is in chanting, reading Srila Prabhupada's books, following sadhana, and preaching. Love is for Krishna. Isn't this devote thing about all this about devotee care sentimental? It's all sentimentalism. Come on, just go distribute books.
Want to read the rest of it?
You can read the rest of it.
All right. Moreover, we have everything in chanting, reading Srila Prabhupada's books, and following sadhana. If we follow this program properly, why do we need devotee care? Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharni Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatade Satarane. Vrajalila, she follows, Lord Chaitanya said that it's 2 rules: you shouldn't criticize too much or praise too much, but it's okay to praise too much. So she overdoes it a bit, but this is requires a lot of self-control. If somebody actually asks this question, I imagine some people do think like this about everything. But there's Kanishta, Madhyam, and Uttama Adhikari. But Krishna, we heard this morning, he's very much likes to take care of his devotees. So if we don't want to take care of devotees, then we won't be with Krishna. Because Krishna takes care of devotees, so we're going to say, well, then why you do that? I'm just chanting your name. But Krishna, he likes to be with the devotees. He takes care of them. He takes care of everything. So if we're chanting and reading it properly and following sadhana, then we would naturally want other people to do that, other devotees. We all need help in order to follow the program. Devotee care, we have, we have physical care, mental care, emotional care, and spiritual care. So if we're chanting properly, we naturally, if we're worshiping Krishna, if we really had love for Krishna, then we have to love everyone, every living entity, everything even, because it's all part and parcel of Krishna. But especially devotees. Charity begins at home, so I would say that it's not sentimental, it's, I guess we can have, it's spiritually sentimental, it's not mundane. We can't chant and read. If we read Prabhupada's books, he's constantly, and study Prabhupada's life, he's so much taking care of devotees. There's so many examples. So and of course we don't want to be thinking I'll take care of someone and they'll take care of me, but that is an automatic result. Giving is getting, So if we want to really connect with Krishna, Krishna says one who says he's a devotee of my devotee, that's better than saying he's a devotee of myself. If we're taking care of devotees, Krishna likes that very much. Love me, love my dog, Prabhupada gave that example. So I think it's essentially important. We can see so many, it's become very thing we become aware of. We always naturally take care of somebody, but we can't only take care of ourselves. We need help to take care of ourselves. We need a society, and we need a society of peaceful, happy people that feel secure and they feel cared for, loved. So we have to practice, and to connect with Krishna, we need to take care of the devotees. I think that's my opinion. What else to say? Quite embarrassing to be up here with these other personalities, superiors. Thank you for giving me a chance anyway.
Hari Hari. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for answering that question. Actually, that question is asked quite a bit. Devotee care, why don't we just focus on spiritual care? If we give devotees spiritual care, why do we need to think about what might be going on with their minds or their bodies? What does that have to do with devotee care? So this is why we wanted to ask you that question, Maharaj, because we know that your body is often sick, and often his body needs care. I've had the great fortune, my husband and I, to care for Maharaj in Gitanagari, and we've seen how ill his body can be. So we understand, he absolutely understand what it means to have to be cared for. Sometimes that's not something so much that we want to accept. His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj, His Holiness Radhanath Swami, all of these amazing devotees, their bodies, have tremendous challenges, yet they keep going and going. I don't know about Naranjan Maharaj, he's all the way on the other side of the world. However, I'm sure he has his bodily, things that are challenges that happens. And so, thank you very much for answering that question. So, Sridham, our team member, will choose which ones we will ask. And thank you. Okay, and this is for any of our panel members. When the temple and centers are small, it is very easy to practice devotee care. When these temple centers grow bigger, they tend to lose that care, become rather impersonal, too big to handle. How can we maintain the care along with the growth? Is that clear? Yes? Okay, so any one of you that would like to answer this question? Okay, so now I'm going to do my... I see that. I'm looking. Is this a community question, a subjective question, a system question? Sounds like it's all of it. A body question? Yeah, everything, impersonal. Maintain growth, systems. Easy to practice devotee care, internal. Community, centers get big, a lot of people. Okay, so it's all there. I'm going to give this to His Holiness Radhanath Swami.
Hare Krishna. If we as leaders really care, if we appreciate how Krishna, Srila Prabhupada really care, whether we are big or whether you are small, we will somehow or other find the way to create these systems for devotee care. Srila Prabhupada would say, impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. So nothing is impossible. If we have the desire, it may be impossible for you and me, but it's not impossible for Krishna. When we really care about others' spiritual lives and every aspect of their life that is important for the sustainability of their spiritual life, then Krishna personally, through our parampara, empowers us. We can theoretically understand philosophy, which is essential. But to really be an instrument to deeply transform people's hearts, we have to really care about those people. That was what Srila Prabhupada taught us, that we should actually really learn to care. And if we do, then beyond all of our limitations, Krishna definitely will empower us to do great things. Purity is the force. Srila Prabhupada wanted us to make the whole world Krishna conscious. Now that's more than just a lot of devotees in a temple. And Prabhupada taught us that if we just surrender with humility and compassion, Srila Prabhupada said, we could actually make the world Krishna conscious in 18 days. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. That was such a rich question, I thought. It would be nice that everyone, if you wouldn't mind, if it's okay, that maybe you share what your thoughts are about this question. Is that okay with you, Maharaj? Is that okay? Is that okay with everyone? I'd like to know. I'd like to get your permission. Maybe if you can just say something very briefly on that. It's such a nice question because it covers everything about how devotees think. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
I was thinking about why this person thought a small temple was better at giving care.
I was actually thinking that a small temple was actually better in giving care.
That must be that the leader of the temple, he was giving care nicely.
It must be because the leader of the temple, he was giving care nicely.
When the temple grew larger, he couldn't cover everybody.
And when the temple grew larger, he couldn't cover everybody.
But then, in order to be successful, he would have to empower and see that many were giving care.
But then, in order to be successful, he would have to empower and see that many are giving care.
And ideally, as Radhanath Swami said,
ideally, as Radhanath Swami said,
everyone aspect of giving care, as I mentioned earlier, is you want to establish a culture of care.
The aspect of giving care, as I mentioned earlier, is that we want to establish the culture of devotee care.
And when Mayapur we started, we had 5 devotees.
In Mayapur, when we started, we had 5 devotees.
Now we have 5,000.
Now we have 5,000.
So it's certainly beyond me to keep track of all the devotees.
So it is certainly beyond me to keep track of all the devotees.
So I just spend all my time, or most of my time, encouraging other leaders to be very sensitive and caregiving.
So then I try to encourage all the other leaders to be sensitive and caregiving.
This is the challenge
This is the challenge.
that how to establish in ISKCON the spirit of appreciating each devotee.
How to establish in ISKCON the spirit of appreciating each devotee.
Lord Chaitanya in his Shikshashtaka, third verse,
Lord Chaitanya in his Sikshashtaka, third verse,
he says, Manadena,
Manadena,
Amanena.
Amanina.
Don't expect appreciation for yourself,
Don't expect appreciation for yourself,
but give appreciation to all others.
but give appreciation to all others.
So that if that can be followed,
If that can be followed,
then they have no problem.
then we would have no problems.
Actually, I discussed this topic in the very beginning of the book, Taking Care of Krishna's Devotees, based on my own experience of being raised and nourished in a small temple and Krishna consciousness, and how I felt cared for by my temple president, who would, at that time, he would just come and just say something to me about Prabhupada, and I felt that that's all I really needed. And then that type of care can easily be lost when the temple grows. If the leader changes his priorities. And as Jayapataka Maharaj has already said, and I would probably just have to repeat, that the priority should always be consistent, that if you're caring for a few devotees in a small group, then the natural result of being cared for is that you want to reciprocate. And the natural way to reciprocate, Prabhupada talks about in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he says a Vaishnava is one who tries to relieve Lord Chaitanya's anxiety for the suffering of the conditioned souls. So, if we've actually experienced being cared for by our immediate leaders, and we see how caring that leader is, that a natural reciprocation that will come forward from naturally from the heart is, let me offer something in return to that person who's cared for me by taking responsibility and caring for others in the same way that he cared for me. And in this way, the essence doesn't have to get lost, and the temple can grow exponentially when everyone grows up in a culture of feeling cared for. And therefore, if the leaders are responsible to keep the vision always the same, that our primary resource is our devotees, and if the devotees are seen as more important, our most important project, that everything else is secondary, then the project will naturally grow in a very organic way, and these principles will not be lost.
Yeah, I'm thinking, actually, if the mood is there, the culture, then the big is better, much better, because you have so many more people to take care. And when a temple grows big, you have doctors, you have people that can give you a job, you have all kinds of things that you don't have in a really small temple. You may not have that, or like in a family. In some parts of the world, they still have big families, you know, and it's very nice. They take care of each other. These nuclear families we see with just, you know, one child, and no aunts and uncles and nothing around, they have a very hard time. People are stressed out. But when there's a big family, you have a lot of people that can help you out in just day-to-day life or in emergencies or anything. So, but like we said, in a small temple or big temple, we need that culture. We need that mood of, caring. So if someone is brought up caring and then they want to reciprocate, they'll do the same thing. They follow the example. So can't say that for sure either one, but the mood has to be there. But if the mood is there, the big is very good. It can be more personal. And we see that if you go to Chopati or something, or Mayapur, there's a lot of people trying to take care of you, right? Sometimes, maybe it's at least too many after, I don't know how to take it all, but I think we can. Big is all right. We have to, sometimes we get lost in the crowd, but we need to promote that personalism.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much. It's like we only have one mic going around. So if that devotee that asked that question, if you want to see how this works on a big level, go to Chopati, go to Tirupati. There's quite a few places that you can go. In America, I believe you could go to LA. If you want to see how it works on a very small level, then you could go to the farm communities, some of the small communities. There are many places where it is actually working, and as our panel members shared, it does require a lot of love and trust and care and all the wonderful things that we need to incorporate as caring devotees. So there are a few more questions, and we need to, our chairman, what is our time? Because we understand we're, 8:30, what time is it now? 8:15. And we would like to invite also our committee to share a little bit about their workshops and what they're offering for all of you. We have 4 questions. So what we'll do is ask each panel member the question that's here, and we'll close with that. If you kindly make it brief, if you can. This is for His Holiness Ranat Maharaj. I have experienced that sometimes devotees lose trust in a leader, and they are very verbal about it. I respect that particular leader, but I don't trust him or her. What do you advise to keep such a devotee? What do you advise to help such a devotee to change his feelings and mistrust? So this is a devotee, I am guessing, does not have trust in leadership. Maharaj, they're asking you how to, it's a how-to question. Trust leaders.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Hari.
Trust is a natural expression of the heart. It is not something that could be superimposed upon us. If one doesn't have trust in a particular leader, the Vaishnava culture is, unless they're doing something terribly bad, still we should respect. The etiquette of Vaishnavism, which is so emphasized and so essential, is the culture of respect. Even if we may not trust someone, we can respect, maybe from a distance, maybe from close. We respect seniority unless they're extremely exploitative. And this is something that is really challenging our movement. that people just say anything about anyone at any time. But the culture of bhakti cannot flourish in such a setting. We're taught to respect our parents. Even if we're devotees and our parents are not following the four regulative principles and all of that, still we should respect them as our parents. We may not follow what they do, but the etiquette of respect is very important. And if we don't have trust in a particular leader, then we put our trust in a leader that we don't trust. And there are many senior devotees, there are many devotees who are our friends, who are our guides. And losing trust in a particular person is not the end of our spiritual life. Just like an electrical outlet is giving us a current where we have trust, where we're being nourished, where we have faith. And if that electrical outlet is not any longer providing that energy, we could connect to another outlet in that sense. So our particular spiritual authorities in our temple, I really don't know what this person's question is really specifically about. I'm speaking very generally. If it's about just senior devotees in our area who we had trust in and we don't anymore, and we reconnect with someone we have trust in within our hearts, but still the culture of respect should be seen as very, very sacred.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you. Part of the culture of care is to respect each other. So that's such an important theme. The next question I'll give to His Holiness Kavichandra Maharaj. Maharaj, how to balance caring and chastising while teaching devotee children, teenagers in Sriram Mayapur? Haribol? Sorry? Okay, I believe you gave this, I'm not sure what you're saying, Prabhu, but okay, you'd like me to repeat the question. Okay, the question is, how to balance caring and chastising while teaching devotee children, teenagers in Sriram Mayapur. The reason Maharaj was asked this question is because Maharaj in our team is, as a committee member, his focus is on the children of ISKCON. So I believe that's why you got that question, Maharaj.
It's better to be unbalanced and be much more caring. Children or anybody, they learn by example. So if we're chastising them much, they'll chastise the next person down the line, or the dog or the cat, Prabhupada said. Caring, of course, sometimes we have to correct someone, so it has to be done with love. That sounds a little, sentimental maybe, but attitude is everything. If someone is correcting out of love, not out of envy or anger. I had more than one mother ask me, I can't control my children. So you're not supposed to control your children, you're supposed to control your mind, control yourself, control your anger, control your speech, right? And is that all right? We're not supposed to be, we're supposed to control our own, like we started out about the speech. So the chastisement, basically, usually when someone's chastised because they're angry, and has a negative effect. We really care for someone, we'll take time, we'll guide them, explain to them, what to do right or why this thing they're doing might not be pleasing, not be good for them. I think that's the way to do it. It takes more time and more self-control, but it will come out very good. That's all Prabhupada did with us.
Haribo. So you can see that our Devotee Care team, our Swamis, gurus, they're also trained in child care. Yeah? So they're parents, because they are parents. So therefore they spend time trying to understand all of us, no matter what sizes our bodies may be. Thank you, Marge. Thank you very much. Okay, this question is for Naranjan Maharaj, and we'll close this part of our panel with His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj. He'll answer the last question. His Holiness Naranjan Swami, if a devotee feels he needs care, what is the proper way to request it? What is the best way to take the first step? Would you like me to repeat the question? No? Okay. Everybody got the question? Okay. His Holiness Naranjan Swami. Haribo.
The best way for a devotee who feels he needs care to request it is to submissively reveal his mind to another devotee, and responsibility of the devotee who he's speaking to is to hear him, and then the next step for the devotee who feels he needs care is to listen. And unfortunately, sometimes that's a major endeavor, because the tendency is when we need care, we tend to, our minds go so erasing onto the next thing, that we're already ready to offer another either objection or suggestion or something else. But submissive inquiry is the essence of actually being able to benefit from somebody that we feel we can trust and approach them. And submission means to quell the mind and to actually hear very carefully the words that coming from this person, and try to see that there is a reason why I approach this person, because I feel they can help connect me to Guru and Krishna. And therefore I should try to hear Guru and Krishna manifesting through them, which means I should be quiet and listen very carefully.
Hari Hari. So we can understand why Ukraine has one of the major best festivals in all of that part of the world. We can understand why there's hundreds of devotees that come to Mayapur from that part of the world, because His Holiness Naranjan Maharaj practices listening. Thank you very much. Okay, this is our closing question for His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj. Let's see. It's quite a little bit long. It's a little long, which is why I gave the question to Maharaj prior to me reading it, because I wanted him to see. It's a little long question, long-winded. Srila Prabhupada, in his books, conversation, letters, etc., has given us so much about devotee care and its importance. Why was this important aspect of devotee care not given importance in our movement after Srila Prabhupada's departure? As a result, we have lost so many wonderful devotees who had given their life and soul to our movement. Many had to leave because they were not cared for by leaders, etc. At least now, by the Lord's mercy, this area is given importance, and the GBC must see that this should, GBCs should be implemented on all temples so that the devotees who are the jewels of our movement happily serve and help each other. We see sometimes sannyasis and gurus falling. Is there any system of devotee care for them so that they also take help and remain in our movement? His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj will answer this question, and I'd also like to defer some of the answer to our director, Gauranga Prabhu, because we do have manuals that help in understanding this particular theme of what happens with our leaders. Okay, His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj.
And this question, this paper, I hear 2 questions and 1 request.
So in this paper, I hear 2 questions and 1 request.
1 question is why
1 question is why
this wasn't implemented.
this wasn't implemented.
That's kind of a rhetorical question.
That's kind of a rhetorical question.
We could discuss that,
We could discuss that,
but in a few words, as we heard from His Holiness Niranjan Swami and others,
but in a few words, as we heard from His Holiness Niranjan Swami and others,
that this ability to give care is a transcendental or a mode of goodness.
that this ability to give care is transcendental or in the mode of goodness.
And at that time, after Prabhupada's departure,
And at that time, after Srila Prabhupada's departure,
it seemed the focus was more on expansion.
it seems that the focus was more on expansion.
So the devotee care got got low priority.
So then devotee care got low priority.
Now the GDC has taken this up as a major initiative.
Now the GBC has taken this as a major initiative.
And they made a permanent committee.
And they made a devotee care committee.
Permanent. It's a permanent.
They made a permanent devotee care committee.
Maybe that will be transformed either into a ministry later.
Maybe it will get transformed into a ministry later.
But in any case, they're very much committed.
In any case, they're very much a permanent committee.
Committed.
Committed.
As far as the leaders getting care, those who are going through some difficulties.
As far as leaders getting care, especially those who are going through some difficulties,
this has been an issue I've been trying to push.
this is an issue that we have tried to push.
That these are Maharatis or Ratis or Yatiratis.
These are like Maharatis or Ratis.
And somehow they get wounded in the battle.
And somehow they get wounded in battle.
When they read the War of Kurukshetra,
When we read the War of Kurukshetra,
we see how they are taken care of.
we see how they are being taken care of.
Charioteer
The charioteer
drives on the side.
drives them to the side.
He'll gets them to see some medical help.
Then he'll arrange for someone to provide medical help.
But as soon as the leader gets healthy,
But as soon as the leader gets healthy,
chastises his charioteer. Why did you take the other fight? Take me back. I'll pay
he'll
you.
say, "Why did you take me out of the fight? Take me back."
So taking inspiration from Radhanath Swami's
So we can take inspiration from Radhanath Swami's
point that Prabhupada declared war.
Prabhupada declared war.
And now it's a 10,000 year period
Now it's a 10,000 year period
of Lord Chaitanya's golden age.
of Lord Chaitanya's golden age.
Kali goes for a hike. But he won't go without a fight. He won't go without a fight.
He won't go without a fight.
So our fight is love, kartals, vajanga, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So our fight is drums, karatal, mridanga, Hare Krishna.
Krishna is more powerful than Kali.
Krishna is more powerful than Kali.
Lord Chaitanya Nitai's mercy is more powerful than Kali.
Lord Chaitanya and Nitai's mercy is more powerful than Kali.
So certainly we need to have some program for our leaders in case they go through some difficulty.
Certainly we need to have a program for our leaders in case they go through some difficulty.
That they can get up and join the fight again.
That they get up and join the fight again.
Because they need them.
We need them.
This is a fight to finish.
This is a fight to the finish.
And Kali will be finished
And Kali will be finished
for 10,000 years.
for 10,000 years.
Oh! Hari Hari. We have the perfect slide. Think globally. Yes. Thank you very much, Maharaj. So
So who's ready? Who's ready?
Who's ready?
Haribo. So we're not prepared at this time to offer artik to these amazing servants of Srila Prabhupada. However, we have a humble request from the Devotee Care Committee, which I'm proposing, devotees. Would everybody kindly just stand and offer our thank you to these devotees?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,